So if you're doing paid ads as well for the higher level guys here, have your community on the back end. So we set this up with Nick Tan, who runs a agency coaching program. He was making about 40K per month just with paid ads, and he was only profiting about 10K off of that. We set up a community funnel on the back end, and in 4 months he was able to scale past 100K. What's up, guys? So we have a little mix today. We've got a little mix between the Brotherhood, MOB members, and the trial members. And today I wanted to go into the Skool funnel and talk about content, talk about building your audience, because when we have an audience, we'll never be poor. So create content, build that audience, and you guys are freaking good. But I would love for you guys to open it up. What is the number one reason why you came to the call today? What would you like to get out of this call? That's where I usually like to start these. What is one thing you would love to get out of this call today, whether it's specific for a question that you have for me or in general in your business? Lucas, I'm loving the shirt, man. Super cool.
Thanks.
ROR, let's go.
How's your dad?
Thanks for asking, man. He just went home last Sunday, not this past Sunday, but the previous Sunday. He's just getting his strength back, so he's doing a lot better.
Glad to hear it. We've been praying for him.
Thank you, man. Definitely helped. And those cookies were incredible. Thanks for bringing those and bringing yourself. That was awesome.
It was really fun meeting you. Well, you got a sweet mom. What a sweet lady. Oh,
too sweet. Yeah.
I think Jennifer would have spent an hour talking with her.
Yeah, my mom's a talker too. She was in my high school, so she was a sign language interpreter for a kid in my grade. And so all the kids knew her and would always say, Andrew, your mom's so cool. And I'm like, you don't live with her. Like, she's cool in moments. All right, guys. Number one question you have for me, or what's on your mind? Number one coaching question that we can ask somebody is, what's on your mind? Just gets them to brain dump. Just like Facebook used to have it, they might still have it in the posts that we create. It said, what's on your mind? It allows, great question, just to allow somebody to brain dump. What's up, Patrick? Gabriel, good to see you guys.
I got a question, if I can ask. I mean, this is specifically just for me. I don't know if it'll help anybody in the group, but is that okay?
Yeah.
So I have a YouTube channel and a podcast I started called the ROR Factor, Return on Relationship Factor, ROR Factor, and it just doesn't really have. There's no title of liberty. There's just no, torch that we're going to hold or just something we're going to stand for. Like in for example, the ClickFunnels community, you're a funnel hacker, or that I'm a funnel hacker, I'm a such and such. So grammatically, this isn't right, but what I'm going with is I'm saying a lot that we rise together. Like we rise together, and rise is kind of that word that I'm going with. And rise, the acronym would be relationships, support, empowerment, relationships, impact, support, empowerment is what RISE stands for. So I'm thinking of changing my podcast instead of the ROR Factor, because it kind of seems kind of mechanical, kind of business-like, to the RISE podcast, because everything that we do that I teach in relationships is rising together. We're helping each other and we're rising together. So I'm kind of leaning towards going to the RISE podcast, talking about how, in my branding statement is, we rise together, and when we fall together, we rise together. And so I'm really leaning at changing that, because it just seems more of something that someone can stand for versus the ROR Factor. It's just kind of evergreen and kind of it's kind of khaki color, but rise. We rise together. I mean, that's what it's all about, is collaborating with people, doing joint venture, helping each other, getting access to people's audiences, rising together. So I just wanted your feedback on what you thought on that, switching over to that, if you had any thoughts or impressions that kind of hit you.
100%. I think this will be good for everybody. So thanks for bringing it up. So we'll take this question, then we'll go into the school funnel, and then we'll do a little breakout room because with like splitting you guys in half, because I want to do this little exercise that will be really helpful for building community and all that. Um, so I like Rise a lot better than putting ROR in the podcast title. Um, Things to remember, it's always about selling people what they want and then giving them what they need, right? Um, always keep that top of mind. For example, if you've joined any Cole Gordon's programs, like he has so much stuff inside of his program. But he sells people what they want, which is setters and salespeople, but they do so much more on the back end. So he's selling people what they want, which is I need a salesperson, I need a setter, but they have so much more on the back end there, right? Um, the other thing is everybody here should identify the 3 words that they want to be known for. Really powerful exercise. I'll put you guys in breakout rooms, and then you guys can build your brand around that. Um, as for building community in terms of a podcast, YouTube channel, school community, Facebook group community, we always want to get across it's an us against the world mentality, right? So my first Facebook group, it was called the Six Figure Digital Marketer. I was helping agency owners get past 10K. Well, that was the goal. It was mainly helping them get their first 1 to 2 clients. And it was us against the world in that Facebook group. It was like our parents don't understand us, our friends don't understand us, we're entrepreneurs, like trying to get to 6 figures and travel the world. And I had just started traveling, all of that. And that's the vibe we want to get across when we're building audience and building community, getting people to feel like they're a part of something. So, in terms of your podcast, your YouTube, if you get that energy across, RISE is a really good acronym. We rise together. And for your communities, podcasts, YouTube, and programs, think about what identity you want to install, right? So, what is the number one driver of behavior? It's identity. Identity drives our behavior, which drive our actions, which drive our results, right? So, for example, we had a 30K program in Tribe of Buyers called Seven Figure CEO, right? Served a great purpose for people wanting to step into that identity of a 7 figure CEO. And once they were in there, they wore those hoodies, they got the boxes, they all said 7 figure CEO, and it helped them act in that way as well. Just like Joel's nomadic closer, like the identity is we travel and we fucking close deals, right? Really good example there. So, what is the identity you actually want to install as well? So, Russell Brunson wants us to buy ClickFunnels, right? So, he gives us the identity of being a funnel hacker, which sounds pretty fucking cool, right? So, he's driving that behavior. So, thinking about the identity inside of your communities, inside of your programs, all of that stuff. It's a really good thinking exercise. Um, that give you some ideas, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Um, cool. So we started there. I want to go into the school funnel and people who are on the trial basis here. So Abdo and Joel and Patrick, thanks for being here, guys. This will be helpful for all of you. And we'll leave the last 10 minutes open for breakout rooms for you guys to connect and talk about the 3 words that you guys want to be known for. Really powerful exercise to get to the core of our messaging and what our dharma is, what our purpose is, and bringing that to life. Does that sound good to you guys? All right. So most of you guys came in to for the school funnel. The most important point that I want to get across is when we have an audience, we'll never be poor. attention is the new gold, right? Um, I see people trying to get too fancy with it, overthinking it. The mentality is done is better than perfect. The clarity will come in the doing, right? Um, Imperfectly putting up content, just being consistent with it. Even I didn't even take my own advice on the YouTube channel that I started about 6 months ago. I was trying to make it perfect, have it all edited right, all this stuff. You can go to my earlier videos. It didn't take off and it took forever. And then I started creating really crappy Loom videos, and now we get the majority of our sales from YouTube and people watching the YouTube videos in the Skool community. So um, whenever we're starting out, we want to pick up as many data points as possible with any new thing that we go into and do it imperfectly, and then we can create the system out of it. Just like Steve Jobs said, we can only see the dots looking backwards. Well, to like create that system, right? But we need to pick up those data points and those dots by taking imperfect action first, right? Does that make sense? Are you guys following this? You with me? Cool. So there are kind of two different levels to this. So there's the 0 to 10K level per month, and then there's the 10K to 100K level. Usually 0 to 10K, it's just all on you. Like basically work out a bunch, do a lot of breath work, and get in your best state and create a shit ton of content and have a shit ton of conversations. That's really what 0 to 10K comes down to. Massive imperfect action and expecting to look dumb, but just doing it, right? Then 10K to 100K per month, we're looking at more leverage, having more leverage in place. So that includes one of the best questions we can ask ourselves as CEOs are, what do I need to delete? What do I need to delegate? What do I need to automate, right? What we want to do as CEOs scaling from 10K, 30K, 50K to 100K is get more shit off our plate. And usually it starts with deleting. Usually we're doing stuff that we don't need to be doing in the first place that's not actually moving the needle forward. A good example of this is, I'm sure all of you guys went through this experience like I did. When I was starting my first business, I was building my website. I didn't have any fucking traffic. I didn't need a website. I just needed to build an audience, right? And take that imperfect action. So that's one thing of identifying, oh, I could have just deleted that and freed up my time for revenue generating activities. The levels are make ourselves rich, make our clients rich, and then make our team rich, right? Optimize marketing and sales, then optimize fulfillment, then optimize team and operations, right? Because once you get to 100K, really scaling, the name of the game is how quickly can we build out systems and hire culture fits and train those culture fits, the team members up to KPI, right? Past that level, it's just being good with our finances and investing into the right spots, and just acquiring A players and training them up to speed, right? Scale past 1 million a month, all that stuff. Um, okay, cool. I went through a few frameworks there. Also, the shortest pencil retains more than the longest memory. So whatever comes up, feel free to drop it in the chat so we can all learn together and all that stuff. So in terms of the Skool funnel, really cool automations to have in place. Number one, the automatic DM. So we're going to go into that. What is the automatic DM? What is the best way to optimize that to lead to more engagement inside of Skool and also responding back and booking in calls, right? We've tested out like a dozen different DMs, and we've got a pretty good one here. So I'll be sharing that with you. Another automation that you'll really want. Now, if you're under 10K right now, don't worry about it. Like you don't need to set up these automations to go high level. It's just done is better than perfect. If you're over 10K, you're definitely going to want to set this up. And it's the automation from somebody opting into Skool, going into go high level, and getting hit up with text messages and emails, And we have the text message email sequence inside the course for you. I just added it last week, which is pretty cool. Other things inside of Skool, you can only email out of Skool every 3 days. The engagement isn't the same as Facebook groups on a daily basis, but us emailing out every 3 days, it's about the same as Facebook groups, if a little bit higher. Where we see the added benefit in Skool, much higher quality leads are on Skool, especially in the coaching agency space, that sort of stuff. And we collect phone number and email right off the bat. Plus, reciprocity kicks in big time. People going through the courses, the videos, all of that stuff. So we can show off what we do so much better. And the other thing, I'm betting on the, was it the jockey? I think that's what the saying is. I'm betting on Alex Hormozi and Sam Ovens. Like they're going all in on this thing, and there are new updates every single week. So it's fucking awesome. All right. Content wise, Skool doesn't need to be crazy with content. Like you don't need to produce a shit ton. All you need to remember on Skool is to email every 3 days. Like that's the main thing. The preloaded content, the pinned content is pretty important, and what's the initial experience that they have, and we'll go through that. Um, and there was one more thing. And over 10K, 15K, I would definitely have a setter in there. Like leverage is the main thing, and the main reason why people go through income roller coasters or go back down to zero is that like hiring people and keeping top talent is the most difficult thing in business. Like managing fucking people or leading people, right? And acquiring A players. We're gonna fuck up a lot when we're hiring and with team management and all that. But it's the number one skill set that we can build. Um, so I'll just tangent right there, but knowing our finances well and hiring A players is huge, 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 especially after we get past 30K per month to get to the next level, right? Um, One thing that I want to add as well, setter, salesperson, VA, and client success manager, minimal viable team to scale past 100K per month. Minimal viable right there. Especially over 30K. I know some people are like, just keep selling and just you until you get over 50 or 100K per month. I'm a big believer over 30K per month. Like, get sales off, like, not all the sales calls, but the majority of the sales calls off your plate so you can use more leverage to scale. I hired Grant Elertson when I got to 40K per month. He helped us get to 60K. And then I hired Mitchell Miles, who's now CEO of Closers.io. He helped us get to about 140K per month. And then I hired Marco Cortezi, who helped us get to 320K per month. And having like a solid A player sales rep hire is one of the biggest leverage things that you guys can do in your business. If you hire somebody and they don't ramp up to speed and ramp up to KPI in the first 30, 45 days, hire slow, fire fast. Like it's super important. And the other thing that I would add is onboard fucking hard. Like the biggest place where I fucked up with hires is like I'm like, oh, they got it, or oh, just dabble a little. No, I just brought one of our salespeople into Playa del Carmen to onboard him for a week together, because that's one of the most crucial roles in business. Um, okay, I've talked about a shit ton, and now we'll go back into the school systems. But I would love to get your takeaways so far. Talked about school systems, talked about team, talked about scaling. What did you guys get out of this so far? Joel, call you out.
Yeah, just the content doesn't have to be perfect. Just start, and the same with my YouTube channel. Like I've just been procrastinating so much, just making sure that the editor's done it right and I've got so much content sitting there in my drive that I just don't use. So I just need to just smash it out. And it's interesting that you get a lot of the majority of your sales now through YouTube. So
Mm.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's hurt me hearing
I
that.
think this will be really helpful for all of you guys starting a YouTube channel, which I highly recommend. It's one of the best assets that we can build for a business, especially if somebody goes into YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video, they're much more likely to become a buyer, right? And done is better than perfect at first, and we want to do it just like Mr. Beast. If you go back 8 years, he's trying out a lot of different content strategies and formats and trying to find out what works. And then he found a format that works, and look, he's scaled it to the fucking moon. So what I did a shit ton at first, and then I realized it's the Airtable builds, how to build the task management system in under 20 minutes. And that video is upwards of 20,000 views now from a really small YouTube channel. But it's also added to 200 subscribers to the channel. So I just modeled that over and over and over for the goals board, for the projects board, that sort of stuff. And those are our biggest videos now. But we'll also throw up some workshop trainings from time to time that we do every Thursday. And that gets longer views because they're like hour-long videos instead of 15 to 20 minutes. I'm also looking to ramp up my view count on there as well.
And
Yeah,
then
so
just
find
a
that
quick
format.
question. So
Yeah.
sorry, buddy. So in the descriptions in the YouTube on the YouTube videos, do you have a link for the community?
Yes. So we've changed it up between like a direct book a call link and the community link. The community link seems to be working better. We've gotten some really high quality calls of like people making 300K to $1 million a month for our Airtable systems, people booking in our business OS demos. And that's just right under the YouTube video, so I know where they're coming from. But I have all of those links underneath there, and I can share a screenshot with you guys. But that's been fucking phenomenal. And then we just post those YouTube videos in Skool, and then they rack up more views there. So it's great. Cool. Marcos, you had some?
Yeah, I have a question. If you're under 10K per month, do you need a community? That's my question. And if
Yeah.
you're doing done for you services.
Yes. So 100%. I would highly recommend having community. Even Cole Gordon says the best way to scale past 200K per month is the community funnel. It's because like trying to create a webinar, trying to create a VSL when we're first starting out, our messaging isn't dialed in. So it's going to flop and we're going to waste a lot of time on it. But with a community, we can capture a lot of people, our authority grows, and we can fuck up with our messaging over and over and over inside of a community. Just a lot of imperfect content, right? So yes, now Cole is talking about the short form funnel where it's kind of like 50-50 if it works. But you kind of run that traffic also to your community. So if you're doing paid ads as well for the higher level guys here, have your community on the back end. So we set this up with Nick Tan, who runs a agency coaching program. He was making about 40K per month just with paid ads, and he was only profiting about 10K off of that. We set up a community funnel on the back end, and in 4 months, he was able to scale past 100K with way more profit. So I'm a big proponent of having an organic marketing machine, and after 20K per month, then putting fuel on the fire with ads. Or if you're running ads already, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot if you don't have an organic process on the back end, right? Does that make sense? Cool.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. We have the launch videos, how to launch a Skool community. It's the same thing for a Facebook group community. So what we recommend is having a super valuable asset inside of Skool or inside of Facebook, and then launch it that way. Like when I launched my Skool community, I just put up a picture of all of our courses inside of Skool and basically said who wants it. And we got 200 people in the first day, right? And what I've also added to the course is Armand Shafi's launch structure. So he came down to San Miguel with me to launch his Skool community, and we were able to get 1,000 people into his Skool group in under 5 days with that launch structure. So that's all inside of Skool as well. Cool. Thoughts on $27 Skool community starting from scratch or paid with value? What I recommend is building up a free audience first, either Skool, Facebook group, that sort of stuff. Put fuel on the fire with YouTube. But I highly recommend free first, because that will contribute to a lot more sales to a higher level program and book calls and all of that. And then you can launch a lower ticket community when it's over 1,000 members inside of the group or the community. But really good question there. Also, big thing for low ticket communities that are like $27, $97, where people shoot themselves in the foot. They don't set up a really good ascension. They don't plant seeds at the very beginning of them joining that community. That's $27, $97 to ascend, because in the first 14 days, that's when people are the most likely to ascend to the higher level, or when they get a massive result, which it's kind of like a gym membership too. At that price point, is like they're paying it and then they forget about it, a lot of them. So capturing them in the first 14 days to get a call for a higher end and setting that up is super important for low ticket. Does that make sense? You guys with me on that? Okay, cool. So.
Sorry, can I ask a question on that?
Yeah.
So when someone comes into free Skool community, the first 14 days is most important to then be able to upsell them. But then what if you're only doing one live call a week? Does that then depend on their activity within the community?
For a paid community, you're doing one live call per week. Does that help the activity inside of the community? Is that the question?
Sorry, no. So we have a free Facebook community and then a paid community. In the free Facebook community, we're only doing one live a week.
Yeah.
Do you think that's enough?
It could be, if it's a super valuable live and you're getting a lot of people hyped up to watch it live. If you're putting like 2 posts in there and then sending out an email, hey, we're going live, and a VA tags them in the live, you can get a lot more people on that live, and if it's super valuable. Another thing that we used to do a shit ton, because I had a messenger bot list of over 10,000 people. We would get people to subscribe to our ManyChat messenger bot list, and then I think we had like 2,000 subscribers or something. And then every time we went live, they would get a notification in their messenger to come to the live. Since we had like 2,000 people on that bad boy, that's why we had 120 people on our lives. So one live a week can be, and I just froze. One live a week can be perfectly fine. It's just like maximizing the amount of people that are on that live. Email before the live, hour before the live too. Doing a couple of hype posts to say, yeah, I want to see that live, and then having a VA tag them in the live when you go live. That will maximize the amount of people that see it. Yeah. And what we do is we do those couple of hype posts, then we send the posts over to Maiko and put a task for her to tag those people at that time, and then she tags them for us. And Maiko's my right-hand VA. So, cool. Okay, great question. So, done is better than perfect. Build your audience if you have an audience, you'll never be poor. Another thing is like profile funnel as well, your Facebook profile. Just really awesome way to start an audience and move people from your profile over to one of your communities. The way that I look at my personal profile is that I just create a lot of content on there. Like I usually make like 2 posts per day, and I'm just testing out what works the best. So if it's a short form post, 2-step post, that sort of stuff, we might repost it inside of our Skool community. And if it's a long form post and I'm getting a lot of reactions and a lot of comments, we're putting that into Go High Level for email autoresponder and sending out emails with that copy. So it's kind of the Alex Hormozy approach to Twitter, just testing a lot of shit out and then using those things for YouTube, for email, for that sort of stuff, right? Does that make sense for Facebook profile on that? Okay, cool. All right. So let's talk about the Skool funnel. Skool funnel. Boom. Number one is the mission slash title of community. So, for example, my first community was the 6-figure. Oh no. Oh my God, I just remembered this. My first community was called Invictus Business. So it like Invictus is my favorite poem by William Ernest Henley, and I showed it to my coach at the time, and he's like, he literally said that is complete dog shit. So we changed it up to the 6-figure digital marketer. Sell people what they want, give people what they need. So put in that title, and that was the first community that really took off, right? Then it turned into messenger bots for entrepreneurs because I went from agency space and coaching agency to getting really good with messenger bots, building them out for my agency clients, and then selling the templates inside the Facebook group. So I changed it to that. And then we changed it to, it was something around coaching and scaling past 6 figures with coaching. I forget exactly what the title was. And then it was it was called 7-figure CEO when I sold it. So over the course of 3.5 years, I changed that community name a lot and the mission behind it. The main thing is just getting started, build an audience, have people fall in love with your story, and then you can change it anytime, right? We don't want to change the industry too much, but yeah. So what is your mission behind the community? What is that community name? That sort of stuff. We got a video that'll link there on that. That's one of the most important things. So, boom, launching, boom. Use current lists. One thing that we want to tap into more is have other people post about the free course to drive referrals to community. We're still nailing down that strategy. We're going much heavier into JVs and affiliates, but when we can have other people promote our free stuff, even better, right? So using our current lists, what I mean is like if you have an email list, your personal profile, your YouTube, your Instagram, boom. And if it's brand new, just do a big 1-week promotion for it, right? The first 100, 200 people get these exclusive bonuses or whatever it is. And if you currently have a Skool community, make sure that you're using these things over and over and over to move people there, right? Boom. Okay. And then launching. And those are the big things in launching. If you're over 30K per month, you can run ads to it. We're just testing some out right now. So once we really nailed down that strategy, we'll share it with you guys. So inside of the course here, we've got the launch right here, how to think about that. I'll plug it in here. Perfect. And it's all about taking traffic that we don't own and moving it to traffic that we do own so we can market over and over and over together. There's usually a direct correlation between how many leads we've gotten the previous quarter and how much sales we get the next quarter. Leads are always a leading indicator to the lagging indicator being sales. And where people usually go through the income roller coasters, they get thrown into fulfillment with all these new clients. They don't systemize that or get a CSM in place. They forget about top of funnel and stop getting new leads and new eyeballs. And then they're like, oh shit, where are all my sales? Well, it's like you totally fucking forgot it 3 months ago. No shit, you don't have any sales calls coming in. You haven't replenished your audience, right? Does that make sense? Always be moving traffic that you don't own to traffic that you do own, right? And then growing it. So we have organic Facebook strategies, Instagram strategies, YouTube strategy. Organic Skool strategy is pretty freaking dope. What kind of sucks on my end is I had our marketing manager create our community. So in my Skool profile, our main Skool community isn't there. But if it was, I would get so many more fucking leads from Skool. So if you started it, you have a leg ahead of me using these Skool organic strategies and posting in other Skool groups and driving people clicking on your bio and then them joining your Skool group, right? And I'm probably going to add some more videos in here on that. It's really good. All the joint ventures that I do, joint ventures is just me doing a presentation, somebody else's audience. I drive them to my Skool community because I'm getting phone number and email as well, which is adding them to go high level. So I'm like, fuck yeah, let me get them all these free resources and get phone number and email and get them through an automated email and text sequence right off the bat, right? You can test out different outreach scripts, especially if you have a setter SDR to just drive people. Let's say somebody's not ready for a sale right now, or they're kind of lower level and can't do like a 5K thing or pay for your $97 Skool community. Just give them a really quick script to send over to drive more people to Skool, right? And then this is kind of a ninja hack. I don't know if they're going to take this away from Skool. But what we do every single week is go back into the Skool communities we want to drive more traffic from, and then we just comment back to everybody. So what this does is it pops it back to the top of the Skool community, and this is the first time I'm sharing it publicly, besides that video. But we just do this, and we get like, I don't know, 5 free leads every single time we do this. So we just go here, and sometimes these always have, boom, a comment back. If it doesn't, I'll just do this, like a pray emoji, boom. And with these sorts of things and like posting in other Facebook groups, my team does this now. So you can just shoot a Loom video for your team and that sort of stuff to do this. But we go back to each of these bad boys. Boom. Thanks, brother. Boom. And then usually I save this one for another time. And now with those 2 comments back, boom, we're starting to own the top of the Skool page right here. So if I hit back up 5 of my posts inside of Skool, then everybody's going to see my posts right up top, and they're more likely to click my profile and consume my content, right? Also, I don't know how long this is going to last either. When it's associated with the community and helpful to the community and doesn't come off spammy, you can drive people to your YouTube channel as well inside of other Skool communities, right? So we get a lot of organic free subscribers that way as well. All right. So Ninja hack right there, weekly basis. Go back, have a VA go back to the Skool community's comments, or if you're under 10K, just do it. It's pretty sweet. So that's going to be super helpful. The other one that I wanted to show you in terms of the setup, if you go to pending member questions here, this will show you some of the pending member questions. We also have different examples of the automated DMs here. Honestly, simple works a lot better. We've tested giving them a free gift and booking in a call. What we found actually is what brings you to the community works for the best response rate, which is kind of cool. And pending member questions here, I'll show you our current ones. Number one, have a lead magnet that's exclusive to them just opting in here. So we have our 7-figure entrepreneur systems, which is an exclusive Airtable system just for this community. So that is a part of our pending member questions. So email for new training updates. We used to have like phone number for training updates as well, or something like that. We switched it for the exclusive 7-figure entrepreneur Airtable system, and we got much more valuable phone numbers. It went from like collecting 20% was a real phone number to now upwards of 60 to 70%, just from adding an exclusive bonus to the phone number question, right? And then super crucial, if you're in the make money online space, like what's your current cash collected revenue, or with Joel, what are your current commissions, that sort of stuff. Or if you're in the health space, what's the number one thing you want to get out of this community? Some sort of question where we can determine what type of quality it is, right? What we do from there, and we showed off in this video under pending member questions, is we send the pending member questions from here to Zapier to go high level. And then it kickstarts the automation. So we have text and email automation in go high level. The very first text that we send, we found being more human, amazingly, is the best way to go. So one ninja hack when it comes to text, if you're sending an automated text and it's one block, people are much less likely to read it and respond. But if it's two, it feels way more human and people are much more likely to read it and respond. So in Go High Level, we have 2 text messages that send right away. So we have this one, which is just, yo, first name, I'm user first name, which is who we assign the user to, which is Nathan. You're a 7-figure entrepreneur community concierge from Masters of Fate. I'm here to answer any questions you might have or support you need in making it easier to scale your business and master your discipline, focus, and productivity. What brings you to the community? So we ask it again inside of text, and they'll usually say, oh, I loved your Airtable systems on YouTube. I want to have that. Or, oh, I learned about this from a real estate friend and wanted to see what you guys were up to. And then we take the conversation from there. And as you guys know, with prospecting, we want to get pain point, challenge, vision, book in a triage call or sales call. Then we have automated emails that they go through as well. First one's just kind of origin story there. And for the first 3 emails, we always ask for a booked call, and just hitting them with book call, book call with really good stories and reason to book a call in there. So we have those examples in there for you. The last 2 emails is just directing them back to Skool because we want to get more engagement in Skool as well. Then what's working really well in the coaching space nowadays is live workshops. We book about 5 to 6 calls every Thursday on our weekly live workshops. We send out an email before and sometimes a text message. The last one was about 30 people on there, and it was like last minute. We just threw the email out there like an hour before, and then 5 minutes before we got 30 people to show up. and we do an hour training, and throughout I'm saying, hey, book a call, so on and so forth. And we have an example here for it. And when people onboard into the Skool community, we also give them the Google Calendar link to add these weekly workshops to their calendar. I prepare nothing for these typical workshops. I literally open up a Google document like this, talk for a little bit, and then build out a framework for them. And then I send them over the Google document with a call booking link at the top of it. It works pretty well. Automated book calls. Another thing that's really cool. Ninja shit. Inside of our course, we have really good case studies, so it's one of the first things that I want people to see. Like Cole Gordon here, that's our first one. And then, hey, book in a 7-figure scaling strategy session here. Here's what our programs kind of look like. Boom, book that in. It's been really cool. We've had a lot of people come from YouTube, hit this page, find the 7-figure scaling strategy session. And over the past 2 months, we had 3 10K painful deals that closed within 20 minutes from coming from YouTube, consuming all our content, finding the link inside of Skool right here with all the testimonials, and they were already pre-sold. So that's the power of like what YouTube as community can do, which is pretty cool. Cool. Skool call booking here. Oh, and then Skool call bookings and DMs. If you're under 10K, just be in these DMs. One of the most important ones to hit up is the people that are online right now. So my SDRs go through this like at least twice per day who's online right now and hitting them up. And then here's an example of a call booking. This might be the call booking or my pay in full deal that I got through Skool without jumping on a sales call. Both those are in there. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we talked a lot. Again, to recap, we talked about the pending member questions, the automated GHL email text sequences in there, how to launch your Skool, how to grow your Skool across different platforms, and how to generate sales call bookings. So cool. What were some of your takeaways, Lucas, Joel, Marcos, Ilias, Gabriel, Abdo?
Just like all the peers said earlier, just a perfect action, build the audience. When you build the audience, you can't really worry about money anymore. And then all the hacks that you presented. And you think about basically my positioning and just looking at, like how to brand it, like what you went through earlier with Christopher. Just in positioning CO services, it could be around like dashboards, smart operations, remote executive, like similar to remote closer. Those are the tagline that I kind of came up with as I was listening.
Awesome. Shoot those over in the Slack channel. I'd love to jam out with you on those, like
Great.
Names of the group and all that.
Yeah. And maybe a quick question about logistics. Just there's a lot to get done. There's the roadmap that we put together. I was just wondering about a checklist. Like if there was, in addition to that, a checklist, or just focus on the roadmap, because I see like all the trainings and I'm just trying to, cover what I need to cover each week and kind of planning things out over the course of the first month, especially that like during the day, typically I'm going to be heavily working.
Yeah. In your particular case, I'll work with you on more of a refined checklist, but it's usually content, conversations, and calls, like just sales, marketing, shaping up the marketplace, and slowly refining your messaging over time. So when I say content, conversations, and calls, what I mean is content on your profile, content in your group and starting your group, and just a lot of conversations with people. That's kind of the starting point of everything because we need to pick up a lot of data points to nail down the messaging for what we're doing in our offers, right? Um, and then after that, we get the sales, do the initial launch, and then we start using leverage in our business, so we're not doing everything ourselves. All right.
Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, for sure. And I would also say a live workshop in your first month, done is better than perfect. Doing the first one, holy crap, that's definitely where the industry is going. Is more community, more live workshops, and booking calls in mass. So cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, Marcos, you had a question?
Yeah, I have a question back to the same similar to what he was saying a minute ago. My biggest thing is I'm doing podcasts right now. And I know you say do DMs, like send DMs, but I feel like this is just my personal feeling and like the way I'm seeing it is I'm messaging people to join up on my podcast. And then I'm not sure how to like message them also about like my services that I offer. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So hopefully you take this for the rest of your life, and I think this will be helpful for everyone. The name of the game is planting seeds, right? Is about planting beliefs. Because what's the number one driver of behavior? It's identity. And we can shift and change somebody's beliefs by how we're talking, the questions we're asking, and the stories we're telling, right? So that's why I'm bringing up case studies so much with our clients and all of that stuff. I'm planting beliefs in people's head that they can do it with our offer, right? And with our methodology. Um, and with getting on these podcasts, there are plenty of things that you can do when somebody books in a podcast. You could put in automated emails after they book with your what you do at the bottom with paid ads and all of that. So they get a taste, and then maybe when they come to the call, they're like, "Oh, you do paid ads as well? We're actually looking for a paid ads person," right? Or case studies underneath that. Or if your personal profile is branded as I do paid ads, then people are much more likely to ask you about that, right? It's our social resume. It's what people are looking at first. And I am dumbfounded by how many people on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram aren't branding themselves properly around what they do. Because it's the easiest way for somebody to say, hey, I need help with that, right? Um, so planting seeds in your social resume, the emails that they're getting automatically, um, and then you can have an organic conversation around it before and after the podcast as well. And also, Alex Harmosi's way of being get this up and running and build this funnel. And the goal is to help you add 30K in the first month, or usually with paid ads, it usually takes 2-3 months to ramp up. But do you know of anybody who might benefit from something like this? Right? Instead of instead of directly asking them for a sale, indirectly ask them, do you know of anybody? Or who do you know who could benefit from this? We have a $500 referral fee or something like that, right? Um, cool. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. What I want to do now is put you guys into breakout rooms. I'm going to answer Christopher's question real fast. But if you guys have 10 more minutes, I want you guys to connect because the people in our life are our life. Every mastermind, coaching program, everything that I've joined has paid big ROIs because of the people that I met. In Project Nuclear with Scott Olford, I basically, so I've done so many JVs with like Sam Skelly, Preston Smiles, all of them that I met there. And then also, I hired most of his team, Brad Newman, Avery Ford. There was one other, Jonathan Heston. And that was from people that I met in masterminds and coaching programs. So I'm going to give you guys 10 minutes, talk about your takeaways and talk about your 3 words that you want to be known by. And yeah, let you guys connect. That sounds good.